Hi, everybody. My name is Sanjana, and I am the Director General for NAIMUN 58. Today, I'm going to be talking to you all about what Model United Nations actually is. So, to begin with, let me talk about what Model United Nations actually is. So, Model United Nations, or Model UN, sometimes even referred to as MUN, is an activity where students get to role play members of the United Nations or other organizations and bodies. This can include something as large as an international NGO or a regional alliance to something even smaller, like a board of directors or maybe the cabinet of a foreign leader. Throughout the course of the weekend, you and other delegates in your committee are going to be debating different ideas and coming up with solutions to real life problems that these committees are facing or have faced in the past. And by participating in Model UN, you'll be able to develop a lot of skills that will serve you well later on in life as well. This includes public speaking, um, thinking creatively, researching, writing, and also those interpersonal skills like collaboration and communication. At the end of conference weekend, we as a NAIMUN staff will offer awards to delegates who are able to utilize these skills to their advantage and come up with unique and creative solutions to problems that we find impressive. In each committee, you'll have the following awards in this order: Best Delegate, Outstanding, Honorable, and then, depending on the size of the committee, 1 to 3 verbal awards. In addition to this, we offer a book award in each committee. This is given to a delegate who might not have the best public speaking skills, but was able to show to their staffers that they understand the topic of the committee and have researched it well enough to be able to perform well in that environment. Beyond individual awards that each committee holds, as a conference, we also offer group awards. We offer Best Large Delegation, Outstanding Large Delegation, Best Small Delegation, and Outstanding Small Delegation based on the progress we've seen with delegates as an entire delegation throughout the course of the conference. Before I give you a rundown of the types of committees that we are going to be holding at NAIMUN, let me give you a brief overview of the type of staffers that you might run into. To begin with, there is a series of senior staffers who you've seen throughout this video series. We're the people who have organized the logistics leading up to the conference to ensure that you have the best time possible as a delegate. If there is anything you need leading up to the conference or throughout conference weekend, please feel free to reach out to us as we are here to ensure that you have the best experience possible. All of our emails can be found throughout this video series as well as on the NAIMUN website. Beyond the senior staff, we also have specific committee staffers. To begin with, there's the chair. In every committee at NAIMUN, there will be a chair, and the chair is in charge of regulating the course of debate for each committee. This will be the person that you're going to be in contact with most. In addition to the chair, each committee will have a director who is responsible for being the principal aide to the chair to ensure that debate runs smoothly. In General Assembly style committees, you also have rapporteurs who are responsible to also help aid the chair and director and ensure that the conference goes as well as possible for you. In addition to these staffers, we also have specific staffers for crisis committees. The first is a crisis manager. This is the person responsible for all crisis elements of crisis committees, and they create a story arc for the events that occur within a crisis committee. In addition to a crisis manager, each crisis committee will have a series of crisis analysts who assist this manager in carrying out the different crisis tasks for your crisis style committees. I will get into later what a crisis committee actually entails, so don't worry about that right now, but just keep in mind these different types of staffers that you're going to be meeting throughout the weekend. I'm now going to give you an overview of GA style committees. If you want to learn more specifics about how these committees operate, please make sure to watch the corresponding videos in this training series. But to start off with, J-style committees are often going to represent different United Nations bodies or other international organizations. This can include something like the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the British House of Commons, or the World Health Organization. As a delegate, you're going to usually be representing a country within this body. For example, you might receive the assignment that you're representing Nigeria in the World Health Organization, which means that throughout the course of the weekend, you're going to be advocating for the global health policies that Nigeria advocates for in real life. On the other hand, you might also be representing an individual in a GA-style committee. For example, in the British House of Commons, you're going to be representing a member of the United Kingdom's parliament instead of an actual country, given that the entire committee is taking place within the UK. In this case, you'll focus more on researching your individual and their background rather than the country itself. Regardless of what type of delegate you are, the goal of a GA-style committee is to come up with an innovative and comprehensive resolution to the historical or current issues facing the group. I do want to emphasize this different time gap. While the majority of GA-style committees will be taking place in the present day, meaning that you'll be talking about issues that are currently happening in 2021, some of them also take place in the past. For example, our United States Senate Committee is a historical one taking place in the 1970s, which means that as a committee, you'll be talking about issues that they were actually facing in this time period, rather than things going on in the current. Make sure you understand the time period of your committee, which can be found on the website itself, so you're researching the proper historical or contemporary issues. I'm now going to give you a quick overview of what the course of a committee will look like. But once again, please make sure to watch the rest of the training video so you can get a better understanding of what this actually means. At the beginning of a GA committee, you will go through a series of debate where you're talking about the different issues that your committee is going to be facing. This will be followed by a writing period where delegates will come together and craft solutions to these pressing issues. Finally, as a committee, you'll vote on these resolutions. I'm now going to talk to you a bit about crisis-style committees. These are much smaller in scope and will usually represent a smaller organization as so. Some examples of crisis committees that we're hosting at NAIMUN 58 include the Court of Louis XIV, taking place in 1665, the Samsung Board of Directors, taking place in 2016, and the Arctic Council, taking place in 2021. As delegates, within crisis-style committees, you're usually going to be representing a specific individual within that organization. Looking at the examples I previously gave, in the Court of Louis XIV, you might be representing a special aide to him. In the Samsung Board of Directors, you would typically be representing a board member. And in the Arctic Council, you're going to be representing a world leader to a country that is represented within this council. Typically speaking, crisis-style committees will usually take place in the past. Some will date as far back to 1665. Others might be more modern, like in 2016, and some might even be in the present day. Regardless, you need to make sure you know the time period, which can also be found on the NAIMUN website to make sure you're researching the proper information. The goal of a crisis committee is to work both in the committee room and outside with the crisis staff to respond quickly to a variety of challenges. Unlike a GA-style committee, you're going to be facing a lot of different issues, not just one or two overarching ones. To give you kind of an overview of what the course of a committee might look like, it'll begin with the crisis staff, aka the crisis manager and crisis analysts, giving you an update about an issue that your committee would be facing. As a response, you and other delegates will debate this issue and come together to write solutions to address this problem. Depending on the response that you give, the crisis staff will come up with a new update that you'll be required to respond to. This is very different from a J-style committee and can be a bit confusing at first, so I highly recommend checking out the crisis training videos that are found in this training series to get a better understanding of what the course of the committee might actually look like and how you as a delegate can prepare. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Putting in the work and preparing in advance by watching these training videos will serve you well in the long run, and I commend your effort. Good luck, delegates, and we will see you in February.